Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So I work for Pearson Online Learning Services. I am an Enrolment Management Analyst. So basically my role is to coach the employees. We work in the online environment, so we partner up with top tier universities in the US and provide them with support, student services, admissions, marketing, and course development.
Some people get out of school and they want to get as far away from education as possible, but you're right back in it. What attracted you to that?
I am. I mean, I'd always thought about going back to school, but at the time I think I looked into it, actually going to one of our local schools here, and thought, I'd love to go back to school, but then that would mean me having to quit my job, take a couple of years off just to get a master's degree. Not just to get a master, but to get a master's degree. And it just wasn't an option with my children, work, etc. It just wasn't an option at that time.
What about your experience at Northeastern? What was that like?
It was great. After I got over the initial anxiety of going back to school after being out for 25 plus years, and entering school as a mature student in the online environment, it was great. So initially there was some anxiety because I'd been out of school for so long. And then once I got in there, I realized it was so different because I had now made a conscious decision to go to school. So with that came my wisdom, my professional experience, just experience in life itself. And I was making a decision to go to school, so it wasn't like someone was saying you had to do this. So my learning was absolutely amazing. It was so great hearing from other people from different industries, what they do, how they do it, and just integrating it in my own learnings and my own life at work as well.
What do you think some of the advantages are of going back to school after you've already had some experience out in the workforce?
Well, some of it I just mentioned because you have the experience. And, I worked as an enrollment advisor, speaking to prospective students all the time. And what I would say to them, it's so different now. So you come with a whole bunch of experience, professional experience, life experience, and the wisdom is different. So the learning, it's totally different. It's because you want to do it and you're doing it for you. But also there's so much happening around you that affects you, and you don't realize it until you're actually back in school and can say, oh, this happened, or from my own experience, say for example in the MBA, so the stock markets or marketing, or this is happening around the world, this is affecting my life, but had I not been in school, had I not been in the online environment in school, it wouldn't have affected me. I wouldn't have known that it was happening. It would have affected me, but I would not have known or appreciated how it's affecting me.
A lot of people struggle with going back to school. They do have that same anxiety as far as returning to school, or they assume that it's going to take up too much time. What do you have to say to those people who, like you, have a family and are considering Northeastern as an option?
Good question. So I would say to them, and by the way, let me just say that I was raising 4 children, had a wife, did some part-time work plus school. I volunteered. So in the midst of all that, I decided to go back to school and do my master's, my MBA. And I could do that only because of the online environment. Yes, it was hectic. There was a struggle. It was a struggle. For myself, I had to physically make a schedule, physically make a schedule where I allocated time for myself, my children, school, work, church, volunteer, and for the first, say, 3 or 4 months, I stuck to that schedule, so it could become a part of me. Once I got into the groove of the online, or being back in school, then I could deviate a little bit, but the schedule remained the same, and I needed to get the permission of my family to do that. But it's about managing your time effectively. That would be the biggest thing that you would have to do in order to be successful. And it is a rigorous program, but having the time to do the work, that's probably the biggest challenge. But there's definitely, if I can do it, then anybody can do it.